Emily is a new biography drama film that will be coming to VOD this week. It had a theatrical release back in February 2023, but is it worth your time? Well, let's talk about it. Emily imagines the transformative, exhilarating, and uplifting journey to womanhood of a rebel and a misfit, one of the world's most famous writers. The film stars Mackey, Oliver Jackson-Cohen, Fionn Whitehead, and Alexandra Dowling, and was directed by Frances O'Connor, and this is her directorial debut. So before I did watch Emily, I did watch a trailer for this film, and I was very interested in checking this film out, mainly because it was a biography film, and I usually like to watch biography films, and the fact that she was a writer, I was very interested to see how her life was, and I can say going into this film that I really figured that it would be kind of darker, mainly because a lot of times writers, they have kind of a crazy kind of past, so that's kind of what I was expected out of this film. The positives that I can say about this film is the setting. I really did like the setting. I like how they did the shots with nature. It was filmed in England, and I like the costumes. I love that time period during when this takes place. I found that the acting in this, it was fine. Most of the performances were decent. I wouldn't say they were really good, but I think for what was written and what they were doing on screen, I thought they did a decent job. And mostly it does kind of centralize on a little bit of drama here and there. There's also a romance angle that is thrown into the film as well. The film starts out rather odd as it goes actually into the present time, and you have someone actually being sick on this bed, and we're introduced to these two characters, and we're later introduced to the fact that Emily has two other sisters, one which they introduce and she's never seen on screen again, so why even bother introducing her? And then we have Charlotte, who is sitting there asking Emily while she's sick on the bed about a fictional piece that she wrote. And I was just like, this is a weird way to start off the film. And then we go into present day and we start going to the original story as to why we got there. I did read that Emily is a very fiery and passionate kind of person, but I don't really think that this movie really captures that. I don't understand why Emily is a famous writer, what makes her a good writer, and what really makes her be a writer that we should be actually talking about. What did she do that really captured writing and captured the way that writing should be actually portrayed on a page? And we don't really get that. And I think the movie is very weak at really kind of developing her character, as her character is pretty stagnant mostly through this film. She's pretty much learning French most of the film, and then she has a very weak romance angle, and the guy that actually falls in love with her, it never really happened in real life. So why are we doing a biography film about some fictionalized romance that never really happened? There's one gothic tone kind of scene that has a small smidge of horror, and I thought this scene was actually a miss because this really could have got the audience into Emily's way of thinking, of how she writes, and the darker tones of her writing, but we really don't get to really dive into that. And I thought because they didn't do that, the scene kind of really just kind of went over my head. As far as really anything else really involved in this movie, it's a very slow-paced movie. I think it's a little long, especially towards the last 15-20 minutes. There could have been a little bit more of wrapping up. I think this is probably not the most accurate portrayal of Emily's life, and I feel like walking out of actually watching this film, I really didn't learn a lot about Emily's life overall. I just kind of learned bits and pieces, and then got to learn about a fake romance that never existed. So in essence, I don't really know much about her love life, and I don't really know much about her as somebody that actually existed. So overall, this film is kind of a fail for me, and I would give a score of it a 2 out of 5. If you have checked out this film, let me know what you thought about this film. If you haven't checked it out, is it something that you're going to check out? Thank you guys for watching this review, and I will see you guys on my next review.